In our last video, we explained the truth about the video that claimed to be of Seo Won Jeong Guy. Many people wondered about the real story of this video and asked, is the victim still alive, and has the criminal had been arrested? So today, I will tell you one of the most disturbing stories in Korean history. The incident I'm about to discuss is the most talked about case in South Korea right now. It's being called the roundhouse kick attempted murder, took place in Busan City, South Korea, back in 2022. On May 22, 2022, a 26-year-old woman named Miss Song had a memorable night out with her girlfriends. She says that she loves watching busking performances, which are quite popular in Korea. Since it was a Saturday night, she decided to stay out until the early hours of the next morning. It was around 4:35 a.m. She was feeling tired from the long night. She made her way back to her apartment alone, and there was CCTV footage captured her walking back to her apartment alone, and as she enters her luxury apartment building at 5 a.m. and presses the elevator to go up. That's when the same man creeps behind her and does a roundabout kick and knocks her down, and he continues to physically assault her about 5 more times, specifically hitting her head on purpose until she passes out, and he's seen taking her into the corner hallway where there was no CCTV. And this is a corner where the emergency stairs, and at 5:21 a.m. a neighbor entered and saw the woman passed out and called the police later on at the hospital. Miss Song had to get multiple stitches on her head, and she was reportedly very swollen, multiple bruises on her face specifically, and she was required to be on medication for at least 2 months to recover. This shook Korea when it happened. Miss Song unfortunately also had damages in her nerves, so it caused her to lose sensation on her right legs. And doctor said that she might not be able to ever walk again, but thankfully with physical therapy and good luck she was able to gain that back. But she says that dealing with the mental trauma was so difficult that till this day, fortunately, the man was arrested 3 days later, and it turned out to be a man named Lee. He was 30 years old at the time. Supposedly after this incident, he went back to his girlfriend's house. He told his girlfriend that the police are going to be looking for him because he had a history of criminal records, which we will get to, and he convinced his girlfriend that they have to leave the house, and they checked into a motel where they stayed for a couple of days. The girlfriend did help Lee, who escaped for a couple of days, and the police had found that out, and she was actually charged later on for helping escape Lee, but the girlfriend ended up helping the police out later on. They were supposed to meet at a secret location, and she did bring the police there. That's when Lee was arrested. Now, who is this guy? Lee was unemployed, but he had a history of working as a club bouncer. He had a history of petty to extreme crime since he was a young kid from 2006, when he was a child, to almost his entire adulthood. He has been in and out of prison. Most was for theft and assaults and fights that he got into. So almost all his entire life he has been in and out for a couple months in prison recently before, and it was only within 3 months since he's been released from prison in 2022. And this case happened.
어떤 남자인가 모르겠는데 그 사람을 제가 너무 마주칩니다. 뭐라 하길래 그냥 저한테 그런 줄 알고 솔직히 좀 갑자기 그냥 화가 나더라고. 술을 먹고 일어날 사람이 이상한 게 됐는지도 모르겠는데 그러다가 피해자 눈이 마주쳤는데 저는 통화를 하는 게 저한테 뭐라 하는 걸로 들었어요. 그만큼 화가 났어요. 정확하게 어떤 말을 들었는지 기억이 안 나는데 그러니까 그때 술도 마시고 이런 거 기억나요? 일본 가야 돼. 걸어왔어요. 이거는 진짜 일본같이 왔어요. 진짜.
When Lee was interrogated by the police, he gave multiple stories from his story, but the most ridiculous one was that he was drunk, and the victim gave him a dirty look and said something to him when he was passing by. He got angry and decided to follow her. When the police asked him what he did in those missing minutes, he claimed that he was trying to wake the victim up. Unfortunately, the victim was unconscious. She says she doesn't remember at all what happened to her. Now, for about a year, there was no question of what happened during these missing minutes, because there was no other evidence and CCTV footage of what actually happened. After this case happened, the main focus was to put this guy behind bars, so the prosecutors ended up charging Lee with attempted murder. Now the trial took about 1 year, and eventually the roundabout kick man was sentenced to 12 years into prison, found guilty of attempted murder. The case was quiet until the victim came out and started wondering if she was actually sexually assaulted during those missing 7 minutes.
나는 아무 잘못도 안 했는데.
This was an important turning point in the case because he's been only put into prison for 12 years. But if you're fond of sexual assault or attempted murder, this can be a sentence of up to 35 years. During his interrogation, Lee claimed that he did not do this and that he had a girlfriend that would make him a bad man.
무서워가지고 사람이 가족이 말이 없으니까 그래서 제가 이렇게 막 이렇게 쳤거든요.
사람이
와서 뭐 했어요? 그게 빰 이렇게 친 것 같습니다. 안 일어나길래.
It is important to mention that after he came back to his girlfriend's apartment, he said that they had to leave right away. They went to a motel. He kept looking outside to see where the police were, and he said that the police were going to come and arrest him. Anytime soon, he would then borrow his girlfriend's phone, and here are the search keywords of what he searched. He wrote a case that happened near me, bleeding death, and then he searches sexual assault, death. Another clue was that when the victim was found by the police and the rescue team, they clearly remembered that her button was actually undone, and her pants were kind of loose. The pants were not all the way down. And when she went to the hospital, the records also show that her underwear was only in one side of her leg. The thing was that a month into the hospital, the victim says that she noticed she kept bleeding from her rectum, and when she got it checked up, the doctors told her that the rectum was torn. But this was recorded a month after the case, so they could not actually link this specifically. So it was hard to submit this as substantial evidence. The ex-girlfriend of Lee that technically helped him escape came forward saying that he actually had some fantasies about that part just recently. Lee started to send her threatening and nasty letters, saying that once he got out he knew where to find her and would appear in court again for threatening and insulting victims with retaliation. He was additionally indicted on other charges. It has been more than 10 months since the incident, but Miss Song still only sleeps about 2 hours a night, even with the help of sleeping pills. When she is outside walking on the street, she gets so anxious that she has to walk quickly and constantly checks over her shoulder. She has returned to work, but her attention span has suffered greatly. When she gets online, she finds herself looking up witness protection programs and electronic tagging bracelets every day. Many victims of crime are fated to a daily life that alternates between anxiety and anger, frustration, and pain. But the hardest part is the absence of dignity that occurs after the incident. What are your thoughts on this incident? Share your opinions in the comments below. If you found this video informative, give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more true crime content. Thank you for joining us today on K-Pop Life. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.